Hello.
Welcome back.
Oh, yes, it's been a while.
It has been a while. How are you?
I'm excellent. How are you?
I am wonderful. Thank you. Thank you for asking.
Well, how could you
I
not be in your wonderful tropical location?
that you have been to what, twice
It's gorgeous there.
now? I am so excited that you're back because the market has shifted and people
Yes.
are losing their minds. And I think that a pep talk from Justin Loncaric is what everybody needs. And I think there's a lot of people who recently, especially, have been reaching out to you about the listings lab and about, specific items. So I want you to talk about that a little bit, but I also really want to dig in today, what into what I think, but also what you think sets apart the people who are highly successful in programs in general, especially the listings lab program, and what shifts you think from a thought process, like what do people need to be shifting right now in order to actually be successful in the changing market?
Well, first of all, I think that real estate is a highly narcissistic industry. We all like to talk about ourselves and it's all about me, me, me. I think a lot of people have to get away from that part of the world when they come into a program like yours and realize that we're trying to create value for our customers and our clients out there. Right. So the camera's on us, but we're trying to help get value out there to the people. So that's one thing that I will say right off the hop. I mean, we have to put our egos aside in order to jump in and see what this program offers and actually execute on it, like very specifically. As everybody, well, not everybody, but as the new people will learn and the old people already know, I had nothing to lose in this program. Right. And I had to just do it. And when I jumped in, I was like, I actually in my head, and I don't know if I ever told you this, but in my head, I was like, if I do everything she says and it doesn't work, I'm going to make sure I get my money back. And if I don't, and I just mess around and I kind of go halfway, she's not going to be able to give it back to me because she'll say to me, oh, well, you didn't do what I said.
And
right.
you
That
did.
was right. And
that is the one thing that I say about you all the time is that
Right.
you were one of the, if not the most coachable person that we've had go through the program.
And I was an arrogant ass. Something or other to start, right? Like I had all, like I came from a family of realtors and I was like, look at me, I'm like 45 years of family business and all this stuff. And none of that mattered because everything I'd learned up to that point got me to where I was, which wasn't where I wanted to be. Yeah. If that makes sense.
Well, exactly. And I think like we all hear these cliches all the time of like, what got you here won't get you there. It goes for what's in here too.
Yep.
Right. Yep. And you made these huge fundamental shifts. Like I would say the Justin that I am friends with today is a very different human being than the Justin that I met a couple of years ago.
Yeah. And even down to, I used to be what's in it for me. Now it's how can I help other people get to what they need?
Yeah.
Even that from a team perspective, a lot of times at the beginning, I was like, I'm just building this for me. And what can I do? What can I get out of this? Now it's very much like even a conversation I was having today with someone who's a prospective new agent on our team. I was telling this person, like, I just want to get you successful as quickly as possible. And how can we get to that point where you're, at this level or the level you want to be at as quickly as possible? I don't give a crap about my success in that transaction. I care about that person's success. Right. So, that's a huge shift for me because I came from anyway, we don't know, we need to know where I came from, but ultimately, we don't talk about that. No, I'm just kidding. But ultimately, at the end of the day, I've had a lot of great success just by being grateful for what I have, but also coming from a place of contribution to other people. Right. And that's really been huge for me. What was the other part of the question? Market shift. We were talking a little bit about that.
Yeah. So because there's been a big market shift, like the stuff that you have been doing consistently for the last couple of years really has made your business a lot more like you have insurance and things are still like you're not feeling the shift the way that other people are.
No. And I think what it comes down to is I think at some point in my last few years, it was told to me that from the time you meet a client, whether it be a person you meet in the grocery store and they meet you for the first time or someone at an open house or a phone call in or whatever, the average time from that moment to the time that they actually transact with you, the average time is approximately 18 months to 2 years. So, we've spent the last 2 years building this listings lab product and building this listings lab program, with the way you've told us to build it, and reinventing it and rebuilding it, because we're even working on a new Omni right now.
Yeah.
And building out new things as we go along, replacing videos and things, to the point where now, even as little as I think a couple weeks ago, actually it would have been 3 weeks ago, this new listing I got this week, they clicked on something that we had put on the internet. They went from there to an email that was sent to them, to 3 calls that were made to them, to another email that was sent to them. And on the 3rd email, they responded to that email, which was the 4 or 5 word email, whatever that one is, where it's like, are you still looking to sell? And they answered, yes. Oh my gosh, what good timing. Can you please call me and discuss? And within 3 weeks of that, we are listing their house. And the point is that all of the things that we've done up to this point have been percolating or maturizing, like maturing into what it is, to the point where people know who we are. People see us everywhere online. I get recognized on the street. The baristas in Starbucks are seeing me. I mean, I tell the story of the first time I came down to see you in the friggin' lineup at Pineapple Air. Some lady was like, "Hey, are you Justin?" And I'm like, yeah, like that's how powerful this has become for me, where I'm getting like narcissistic Justin is coming back a little bit, like, oh, it's me, No,
I'm famous.
Yeah. So, but I mean, and that's, but it's taken that amount of time and the consistency over that amount of time. To be able to get to this point. Right. And I tell this story, like I get people calling me all the time that are considering the program and they want to know a little more about my experience. And part of it is that, listen, like, it's hard work. It's not just like you flip a switch and someone's going to do stuff for you. You get all the tools given to you to be as successful as you possibly want to be. And everyone's level of success, version of success is different. And you just need to execute those tools and use them properly and use them as you're told to use them. That's the most frustrating point. I mean, this is going to tweak some people in your group, but I go through some of their stuff because I'm interested in other people doing the program. And I see people in the program that aren't doing what you're telling them to. You're physically saying, do this, and they're not doing it. And I'm like, they're asking questions that are kind of,
and then they're always the people who are like, it's not working for me. And I'm like, but you're not doing it.
Right. And that's where I think you need to remember that no matter what happens, the tools are there. You just need to execute on them. Right. It's the whole mindset. Like, if you aren't willing to work, this isn't the program for you. If you also don't want to be successful.
But if you're not willing to work and you're not willing to build the foundations of like what is actually going to exponentially grow your business, then why are you in business?
Exactly. Well, don't be in sales. You can be in another industry where you don't have to communicate with humans. That's fine too. Right. Let's be honest. But if you want to build a proper business, it doesn't almost matter what industry you're in as far as sales and business growth. You want to build a proper business, you got to do the things that are the things that make you successful. And I jokingly tell my team that the sexy real estate things that everyone sees on Instagram aren't the things that make people successful.
And
right?
Like, they don't work.
No, but it's the showing of houses. People think that real estate is, all this glitzy showing houses and I get to buy a nice car and drive around. And that's not the thing. The things, the behind the scenes stuff and the stuff that we're learning and teaching and doing in this program are the things that are going to make you successful in this business. It's the sexy stuff that you take from it. And that's the fun stuff that you get to do after, but you still have to do all the work to get there.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is that why wouldn't you put in a short amount, like a short period of work that you can refine over time that will set you up for success in the long term? And instead, what people choose to do instead is pound the pavement and, work, like do the stuff that doesn't work consistently, doesn't get you in front of the people that you want to work with. It's so frustrating for me because like the people will literally go through this and be like, well, I'm already doing everything that you teach. And I'm like, I'm looking at your stuff and you're doing none of what I teach. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so, that part of it's really frustrating in that, it's this know-it-all mentality where people are like, I feel like I'm already doing it, so I don't need this. I'm like, well, okay, if you were doing it and you were doing it correctly and you were doing it consistently, don't you think that your business would have grown?
I 100% agree with that statement. And the challenge is that if like, you know, I've run across a few people that have come and gone in this program that have said to me, well, I found this other thing that does it all for you. And I'm like, well, what good is that? Why do I have to pay that other company for the rest of my life to do it for me? I can learn it all, have it all in here and have it all within my team and control the expenses of it.
Yeah.
Right. So it's all built here by me for me. Right. Even when I hear people talking about copywriters and people that can do content for me, I'm like, no, it doesn't work that way. It has to come from my heart and my messaging. Yeah. Right. Because I'm the one that's connecting with people out there. We are a people driven business. Right. We all know this. It's the people will use you based on emotion. Right. Yeah. They'll base it on the whether or not they like you flat out. And if they don't like,
you know, it's so interesting because people want to build like this element of trust. They want the know, like, and trust. They want people think that they're omnipresent when they're boosting ads. Well, no, you're not boosting. And like, I mean, I joke around about boosting posts and things like that, but like you're literally lighting money on fire.
Yeah.
And like, there's just so many things that are prevalent in the real estate space that people don't want to get out of this mindset of like, basically people don't want to be told that what they're doing isn't right. And so they take it very personally. And then they see a program like ours that is like, you know, works consistently, but really turns a lot of that traditional real estate crap on its head. Yep. And there's two camps of people. You've got the people who are like, yes, I need this. This is exactly what I've been looking for. This is what I've been saying forever. And then you've got the camp of people who like, it actually triggers them tremendously because this is what they've been trying to do. And they don't want to admit that they haven't been able to do it on their own.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense because there's a lot of information and there's a lot of misinformation out there. And there's a lot of other people telling us, oh, this is how it should be done, but that's not, they just want your money. Right. And I will say this, never have I been in a program that was so hands-on and helpful in a very personalized way, even in whether it be the bigger group of people or the more refined, 7FA program that allows you to get that one-on-one coaching. Like the people on your side of the camera, on your side of the program are genuinely here and concerned about our success as a whole, right? Now, that success and that concern is also guided by the level of effort you're putting back into it. I mean, they can't, people like Jess obviously can't put their time into you if you're not doing what you're being told to do. But at the same time, they want, the more you succeed in the program, the more they succeed as a whole. And the more people come to the program. So at the end of the day, like genuinely, like this is something that works, that we've seen a ton of success from. And we just did what we were told. And that's, I'm a good student. I'm the star student right here. And I did it. And we've had tremendous success from it. We did our first $1 million 12-month period a couple months ago, which is insane. Like I never would have thought that I would have been in that position 2 years from having done $150,000 in a year. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah. I mean, I think that I think it's amazing. And I think that it's consistency and it's coachability and it's getting out of your own way. And I think that you did that and you have understood that this is the lifeblood of your business. And I don't just make stuff up and put it out there. Like the stuff that we teach, it works.
Well, it's funny because, I've had a lot of people bang on the drum of like cold calling and all the stuff that we still constantly hear about. And I'm just not into like the negativity of that. I'm not into 16 hours a week of hammering the phones and getting told F off.
It's not the life you want. Yeah.
No, it's not. I'd rather build a life that I desire and design myself that I'm comfortable with. Right. Like, and so, it's, as I said, it takes some hard work up front. It takes some effort and some time put into this program to make sure that you do it right and do what they're telling you. But honestly, like if there's anyone that could sit here and tell you, like, I just have this same conversation with 5 or 10 people a month that call me up asking me for a referral to this program or some sort of testimonial. And I just go, it works. I just want to go, just do it. Nike, just do it. Yeah. Because it works, but you have to do it. And you have to stick to it.
You have to do it. You have to do it. And that's the other thing is that I think that there's, there's a laziness that has now been associated with, you've got two sets of people again. You've got the people who will cold call for 8 hours a day and will hammer the phones, but won't do something that's more efficient. And then you have this other camp of people that believes that they should be able to build a marketing foundation that is the lifeblood of your business and not have to do any work. And so I would say both camps are wrong.
I would agree with that.
Because like the answer that we provide is in the middle. And people will say like, will you just do it all for me? Well, until we have better technology where I can like put my face on your body or put like, I can like do a video and like, you know, superimpose your face and your voice onto me. No, I can't. And there's a certain element too that, you know, I know a lot about a lot of markets, but I'm assuming that if you're in Gainesville, Florida, and I don't live in Gainesville, Florida, and you've been selling real estate there for 10 years, you know more about the market there than I do.
Yeah, but even talk about the inflection in people's voices and the personality that they bring. I mean, obviously you and I are incredibly sparky, gregarious personalities, and that's great for a certain segment of people, but there's also like accountant type people that are very calm and very,
they do really, really well.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the point is you can't have that and attract those people that are going to like, know, and trust you.
Yeah.
If you're me, because people like me probably scare those people out of the water. Right. So, I mean, my overall point is actually, I had one of your guys that's in your program. I think it was Chris Cook who said that his wife would never use me because of the stuff that I do. And I'm like, that's cool. Thanks, Chris Cook. I appreciate you. But I was like, that's cool because his wife and I, as far as personality type, what she sees online doesn't associate with her in a way that makes sense. But I don't need that. I need the people that are going to like, know, and trust me for who I am and what I am. And that's what I'm getting. And the best part about that, and just, we haven't really talked about this part about it, but like this couple that I'm listing their house this week and the couple that I just sold their house last week at the end of last week, both came to me because of the videos that we're doing and the marketing we've been doing.
Yep.
Both of these couples have never said no to me. Like they've never, like, it's like,
they're not pushing back. They're letting you do what you do.
Right. Yeah. And I just go, here's what we're going to do. Bang, 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 bang. This week was like, we're doing like decluttering, painting, like all this stuff to the house. I said, get the hell out of your house for a week, go up to your cabin in Aurelia and get away from here. Cause this is going to be done. And they never said no once. Yeah. They never questioned the commission. They never questioned the process. Yeah. They're just doing what I'm saying. And they never questioned the price I told them. It's just the way it is.
This is what I mean. And I talk about this a lot, right? The commission haggling. Oh, and it is a completely different set of, like, everything about the relationship is different when the business is inbound. When people come to you and you aren't chasing people, and I hate to use the word power dynamic, but it's a hard thing to like describe in a different way. When people come to you, they're coming to you because they see you as credible and the expert, and they're willing to essentially just hand over the reins to you. They become much easier clients to deal with, and they're not going to price shop you.
Nope. And it's just something that over time just happens more and more, which makes life so much easier.
And there's the compound effect that comes with it, right? And you know, someone told me the other day, they're like, oh, I'm using this platform and it's generating these leads, and then I have to call through them all day. And I'm like, yeah, but like, you're going to convert those at such a low level. You're going to spend so much time doing that. It's not scalable. People are building zero relationship with you. And like, people are so, I think for the most part, are so short-sighted. If you're looking past the next 60 to 90 days and you're looking at the longevity of your business and what you're actually trying to grow and scale, then a lot of the decisions that people make from a business generation standpoint in the short term don't make sense to them. Don't actually make sense in the long term.
Agreed.
And so I think that's really why, like, there's so much animosity towards towards actually online business generation, because they think that everything sucks because they've never actually learned how to do this properly.
It's actually funny because I had a guy that is trying to get on my team, and he told me, he says he's working with I don't really name the company name to call them out or anything, but he's working with this particular company that's an online kind of company. They do a lot of online stuff, and I suppose they give leads to these guys or whatever, and they track all the appointments and all these things. And he said, I was the most active agent in their entire brokerage. I did over 700 appointments last year. And I'm like, and why are you looking for other work to be on my team? Shouldn't you be? Because no one's teaching,
killing it.
Right? No one's teaching him the next level of the stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
No one's going to the next level saying, how do you convert those? Great that you took them to see a house, but where are they now?
Yeah.
Or great that you went in to do an evaluation and show them your marketing presentation, but where are they now? Why didn't you list their house? Right. And so there's so many different levels to this that just makes so much sense. But I mean, like I said, those leads that come from that online lead generation that just get plowed through the system.
Yeah.
There's such
and that's the thing. I mean, there's a reason I say this a lot, like this concept of like every lead has a heartbeat. Yep. I say that all the time. And when you treat leads like leads, they behave like leads. Mm-hmm. When you treat people like people, relationships are built. And I think that there is this misconception that first of all, that you can't build relationships online, because of course you can. Mm-hmm. But then on the other side of it, that this whole like putting people in a funnel and like automating everything, and like, yes, you can do that, but there's a human element to this. And when you treat people and you talk to people like they're leads, and like they're in some sort of a weird machine that you're trying to put them through, it feels gross to everyone. And so there's a right way and a wrong way to do this.
Yeah. I mean, there can be the extreme one side of automation where it's like you never talk to people, which makes zero sense to me.
Yeah.
Or the extreme other side where you never use any automation and you're cold calling. And then down the middle of that, which is the generating the proper kind of leads using the right kind of content and the right kind of system, speaking to them on regular intervals online, but as well as like literal phone calls.
Yeah.
Because
once they get to a certain point, for sure.
Right. And if your stuff is good enough, people are giving you phone numbers and very willingly. So, I mean, we're getting them so that I know people give us phone numbers and we have contact with these people. So, I mean, there's opportunity and options everywhere, but this is never a no call system, which I think a lot of people are looking for. I will say that a lot of people are like, well, how can we automate everything and never have to, and then just have these leads come in? I'm like, well, you still got to call people and follow up with people. But certainly like it's just such a comfortable way of doing it. But again, like we'll circle back to that initial comment of you got to put the work in to get to that point. Like it seems like life is good for me right now, but we're still putting the work in to continue to help it grow. Like you're still
refining it.
I did 3 new videos. In fact, it's funny because the first set of videos I did with you way back when we had, I think, a content day way back. Yeah. I mean, I look at those videos and I'm like probably 20 pounds heavier and like car salesy and weird. And I'm like, I don't even like looking at these
better, right?
And I just got better at it.
Yeah.
Right. So
it's not that they didn't work though. They worked.
No, they did. They totally worked. But now we've just redone the videos in an updated sense where it's like the content of that video is very impactful and good. We just updated them to today and how I look and feel and am today. Not only that, the quality of the video back then was different. Like, I don't know what I was doing, but I didn't even record them in great quality somehow. And so now like, I'm just trying to make everything that much better every time. It doesn't cost a lot of money to record. You don't have to edit. This is really simple stuff, people. Like, this is not super complicated. You just got to get in front of it and do it.
Yeah. And I mean, I think that like, as much as I wanted this to be like a bit of a pep talk, it also needs to be a little bit of like tough love where, everything that you want to build is available to you, but you have to take ownership for it. And you have to be willing to do a certain level of work in order to make it work. And I think so many people are looking for a magic pill or an easy out with things. And, after you've bought hundreds of thousands of things, you will realize that there is no such thing and that you are going to have to do some work and build it out and actually learn how to be a marketer as well as being an agent.
And so here's your pep talk. Every human being that you run into in the course of your day for the next 24, 48, for the rest of your life in this business, someone told me once is worth $2,500 to you. Because if you average out the amount of humans that you meet in your lifetime, versus to the commission that you make over your lifetime, it works out to about $2,500 per person. So every person you meet is worth $2,500 to you. Right. So at the end of the day, when you look at that person, whether it be at an open house or the grocery store or wherever you run into people, you're looking at potential business. That doesn't mean you have to be like on and businessy every second of the day, but it just means you have to be a friendly human out there in the world and not be a secret agent, which is a term I learned in my previous broker. Don't be a secret agent, right? So the reality becomes, I look at it like, look at my area where I work out of. I have like a 4 square kilometer area that really is my sort of zone where I love to work out of. I lived there for 13 years. It's all part of my business. In that area every year, I did the math over this course of a 4 or 5 year period, works out to about $3 to $4 million worth of commissions sold in that area every year. Now, I'd love $3 to $4 million and just dominate the hell out of the area. It'd be incredible. It's probably not likely, but at the end of the day, I need my slice. That's all I want. I want my slice, right? I want my piece of that pie.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be all of it. You don't have to be a super uber successful. Like there's a guy in my area that's $6 million a year. That's great. That's for him. That's awesome. You want what you want. You got to go get it. And when you break down the areas in your neighborhoods and your towns and countries and cities and wherever you are, you'll find that there's a lot of commission that gets transacted in just small little areas. You just need to go get your little piece of that pie because it's there. There's someone sitting in their house right now thinking to themselves, I want to sell my house. And suddenly your email may pop into their inbox or their phone might ring and it might be you in the right moment in time. Right. And that could be your next listing or it could be your next buyer. But if you choose not to make that call or choose not to send that email or set up that automation, that's hurting you. Right. So all you need to do is act and do the things that they're telling you to do when you jump into the program. And make that next phone call or send that next email because that could be your next $2,500. And in most cases, when you do the actual commission in my area, it's like 15 grand, right? Per deal, roughly. So,
and it adds up. And the compounding effect of what this looks like month over month, year over year is actually pretty humongous. Right? Like Justin and I, like what Justin has built has gotten him to this point. But if we're having this conversation and he remains consistent and keeps using the system exactly how it's taught, 2 years from now, the numbers that we're talking about are going to be astronomically different. If he
100%.
wants them to be.
100%.
Right?
Yep. And again, it's all about me, right? So I look at it like, well, what does my comfortable life look like? And that's for me. Like, this is what I've decided. This is what I want. So this is what I'm shooting for. Some people are happy with 100 grand a year. Awesome. How do we get there? Right? What does it take to get that? Some people want the $6 million thing. That's great too. How do we get there? Right? So I think it all comes down to begin with the end in mind and take action. Because if you're sitting there, and the other thing I will say is a lot of people get caught up in training to the point where they don't actually take action.
So much information.
So they just went, I'm going to this course. Don't worry, I'm going to do this thing. And it's like, well, no. You still have to actually do the things out in the world, not just in the boardroom when you're in your course. Right.
Yeah.
So that's a big problem with a lot of people. They get caught up in the training modules and things like that, but don't actually get out in the world and do the selling.
And just do the thing. And I think that, and this is in the program. I used it on a presentation that I just did like right before we got on this. Perfectionism is just procrastination in a cuter outfit.
I love that.
And it is so, people take pride in their perfectionism. Your perfectionism is actually a flaw because it keeps you from doing things, it keeps you from taking action, and it keeps you stuck. And so some of what we actually work through with a lot of people in our programs is getting over that perfectionism and actually being able to take steps forward every single day so that you're getting closer and closer to what you want. If you were going to leave people with one thing, what is like the most common thing that you get asked when people ask to talk to you about the program?
Well, I think we talked about most of it from where we've already gone from, but I think, just to leave you with the one thing is just like literally like, this is a program that's teaching you how to fish, right? They're not giving you fish. They're teaching you how to fish, right? If you understand that sort of there. And so at the end of the day, you still have to do the work and you still have to be present in the program in order to be successful. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter where you are in your business. You came to this program for a reason. You needed help in some way, shape, or form. That's where I was at. I actually went to the Listings Lab Live in March of 2020, just to be there because my wife made me go. But I was also in the mind frame of like, I need something to help me. And it just so happened that I ended up in your conference that day or that week. And ultimately I was open to the idea of growing. And so my point is, if you come to this program, you see the value, some sort of value in one way, shape, or form. You might as well just do it.
Yeah.
And
And
do what you're
if
told.
you think that you can do it, you're on your own, by all means. But the question that I ask is, why haven't you done it then?
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I think that goes for the people who are in the program and people who are not in the program. If you don't do anything, there is no one to blame but you. And there's a reason why there are people who are absolutely astronomically successful in our programs and people who, you know, do okay. And a lot of it has to do with execution and, you know, taking responsibility for their results, because the information is the same.
Isn't that the funny part though, is that even the people that are kind of like halfway there still see some form of success from it? If you understand what I mean,
don't have
like,
to be perfect in order
yeah,
for this business to do well for you.
Yeah, it's so interesting because like the content creation within the program is set up in such a way that if you just change a couple little things, you can change some stuff in your overall incoming business just by changing a few things on some personal pages and things.
Yeah.
But you get the greatest amount of success by just sticking to it and like do what you're told.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if anybody has any questions for Justin, please drop them in the chat. We're just trying to, I mean, I know that you get so many phone calls, and so I appreciate that you talk to people.
I love it. I love it because I love talking, unfortunately. And right now I seem to have a bit of a sore throat thing going on. My advice to you,
raspy.
Never have kids.
He's doing sexy voice for you guys.
No, never have kids because they just bring sickness home. That's all they ever do. Just bring sick home from high school and school.
So if you've been on the fence about something, you know, whether it's with us or whether it's something else, do something. Take some sort of action. Don't sit on your hands, because if you, the market has shifted and we don't want you be going into January of 2023 and panicking then. The time to actually do something and take some action and make some changes in your business is now.
That's what I yell at my kids on the ice. Do something.
Well, have a great day, guys. Take some action, do some things, make some money.